I went to Jefferson for bariatric surgery.
All right, I think we are live now. Doing some things different. I'm trying to. Uh, I'm doing this all on OBS and YouTube, so I don't know how this is going to work. Trying to do something different, and we'll see how this works. But let me see right now if I can roll the intro.
Yo, 2026 and the link is feeling cold. Stories of a super runner getting kinda old. Jalen under fire, say his vision's getting tight. Calling them uncoachable every single night. AJ in the tray, got me in my fields. Mr. Hollywood is the brownest on the field. Man, he ain't calling plays, I'll be searching for the spark. Eagles flying solo, hunting shadows in the dark. Vrabel and Rousini trying to launch a master plan. Ever since the photos got you sitting with the fans. Draft day approaching, how we sitting on this perch. Gotta fill some holes, so you know he's on the search. 10 toes down with the Eagles on the scene. Watching out for Cap, cause your boy is bleeding green. Searching through the trending topics, info moving slow. Pro fan talk, always keep you in the know. Pro fan talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Pro fan talk. With the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all. Pro fan talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. With the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all. Fan talk.
Oh, there we go. What's going on, y'all? What is going on? Appreciate y'all joining me. Do me a favor. If anything looks weird, sounds weird, or if you see any type of anything acting a little bit funky, please let me know ASAP. I'm doing all this through OBS. I'm not running through StreamYard, which I normally do. I see somebody was asking me about calling in. There was an issue going on YouTube tonight. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what the situation was, but I tried to set this up in StreamYard 3 times and it would not let me do it. It said something was going on, try again. So I just assumed there was something going on with YouTube. So I just said, screw it. Let me see if I can do the whole thing in OBS. Because I know I can do it just like go through YouTube, but I want a little bit more control with OBS. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. I had to go figure out where my intro was set up on my hard drive because it just does it a few things differently. Um, they got more pictures of Rousini and Vrabel. What's going on? I must have missed that. I must have missed that. So I don't know what's going on. So I'm trying to see. Delay ads, insert ads. Nope. Control panel. Huh. I thought I would be able to do the stream, but I guess maybe not. But in any case, what's going on, y'all? I see Tiff. Looks like Tiff was first out the limo. Chris was in there. Ian Sr. Be more careful. I like that. Hey, Europe was good. Arthur, what's good? Panda's in the building. Kev, the PRF, is in the building. Danielle Berry Sports, what's going on? So, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Y'all had to let me know what happened if there was some other pictures of Rousini and them, of Rousini and Vrabel. I haven't seen anything. I got my Twitter up, but I haven't seen anything, and I wasn't looking for it either. So I just watched the Chicago game, and I'm seeing stuff talking about Angel Reese Cook, Camilla Cardosa. It was a preseason game. They both looked horrible, in my opinion. But yeah, definitely let me know. Definitely let me know if you see anything about Rousini. I don't know what you saw, Carlos. I didn't see anything different. But I will say this. I think it was interesting that they made sure to put on, they posted it out on internet, wherever Vrabel was, whatever Vrabel was at. I don't know if it was a conference, if it was I don't know, meet the fans in New England or whatever it is. They gave him a standing ovation. And I'm like, if I'm Diana Rousini, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'm trying to go on somebody like Nikki Glazier, or she got to get on somebody's podcast that ain't afraid to talk that talk. That's what she got to do, because her career is getting ruined. Like, they are like smashing her. Literally, they are beating a dead horse. And Vrabel ain't catching no smoke. None. If I'm Diana Rousini, you better get on one of them no holds barred podcasts. Get on, try to hook up with Kelce or anybody, and just give up the ghost. Tell the goods, like, give it up, because the more he gets back to normal and you still hiding under the rock, that's just worse for you, because his train ain't gonna stop. His train got that NFL engine. It ain't gonna stop. You gonna be scratching and surviving trying to get your next job, because now everybody's got they're gonna be giving you the side eye wherever you go and whatever you do. So, and I know it's easy, everybody on the outside saying that, but the quicker you start the next phase, the quicker you can get through all of this nonsense that they going on. So, I'm like, we all know what the double standard is. You know, you gonna catch a little bit more, because apparently Rousini was messing with him before she got married, but he been married for a while. But that begs the thing, like first of all, there's blame on both sides. But I'm like, you knew he was married, but he knew he was married, and y'all still decided to make them decisions. So, in my opinion, is equally as bad. Especially now, it's gonna come to a tipping point, because now TMZ and paparazzi is following Vrabel's wife around, and it's only going to be a certain amount of time where she's going to be somewhere, and somebody going to step over the line. Somebody going to do something, and it's not even going to be anything necessarily bad. It's just going to be, for her, unwanted attention, because up to this point, if she walked up and smacked somebody upside the head, they wouldn't know who she was, unless she was really, really, really tied in to the coaches and the coaches' wives. I don't ever remember seeing Vrabel's wife anywhere. Now, I'm sure there was some people in Tennessee that might know, and people in New England that would know. But for the most part, the audience, have no idea who she is. Now there's pictures of her everywhere, and somebody gonna test the line. They already done. They ran up on Vrabel in the airport, and then they ran up on Vrabel's wife. I don't know where she was shopping. I don't know. And it's only a matter of time before somebody, one of these paparazzi type people, TMZ type people, they're going to step over the line. They're going to do something stupid, and it's going to get blown up even more. But now you're talking about somebody that's the innocent bystander, Vrabel's wife. She taking all of this heat. She getting all of this attention that she don't want. And people are going to be shoving mics in her face and asking her questions, and she don't want to have to deal with this. But, that's just my 2 cents. If I'm Diana Rousini, you gotta suck it up, and you gotta find a way to go on the offensive, because you the only one getting thrown under the bus. Your livelihood has stopped. He's still getting a check. So, and as last I checked, it was 2 consenting adults that did that. Both of y'all made that bad decision. But like I said, you the one catching all the smoke. So I don't know what you're going to do. So, because I guarantee you, Diana Rousini go on one of these podcasts, everybody listening. You better go to DJ Vlad. You better do what you got to do. Because you got young kids and they got to deal with it. And ain't no telling, I don't know what the situation is with her and her husband, but how many times you done made him look like an idiot? So he's probably out the door. But as soon as that stuff gets over with, you better get back on the grind, and because like I said, when you decide to come out of the shell, it's gonna be mid-season, and ain't nobody gonna care about Vrabel anymore. So then it'll just be all in your lap. So it's a shame. You say you got all this stuff muted, Panda. Yeah, it is what it is, man. It's pretty interesting. But like I said, it's crazy. It's crazy. Coach, will AJ, I can't put the hold on for a second. Pay report. Go to chat. Yeah, see, I can't put your messages on screen. I got to look that up. Okay, I can do it in the chat. I can put it at the top of the chat. So that's what I will do. Let me set. Okay, this is cool. I'm gonna go 1 hour. There we go. I got the goal of 10 super chats today, and that's cool. All right, so I can pin it. So no, AJ Brown is not. They already announced that AJ Brown is not coming to the softball tournament. They already announced that. So I didn't think that was going to happen anyways. I mean, and I wouldn't expect that he would. If it was, AJ seems to be one of them guys where he cutting all ties. So, I don't know if you saw my short that I did today. Like, hey, I wish him well. If I think it is a fallacy that Philadelphia never rocked with AJ Brown, because I think the media picked up that stuff. And if you are on the outside looking in, if you are not in the city of Philadelphia, everybody just pulls the narrative from WIP in 97.5. And you know how that goes. So, it is what it is. I wish he would stay, but I understand if he don't want to be here, then find somewhere else to be. Deuces. I appreciate everything you did for this city and this football team, but good luck in your next venture. No hard feelings. That's how I feel about it, because y'all know me. I want AJ Brown here in no uncertain terms. So if somebody in the chat know AJ, give them that message. Coach Marcus wants you here, but I understand the nature of this business. This is a nasty business. This is the way things go. And you keep on moving. Sun coming up tomorrow, whether AJ Brown is here or not. So keep it moving. Good luck to you. I saw a report today that said now Kansas City is in the mix for AJ Brown. So it's not like a slam dunk that he's going to the Patriots. And now that would be deadly if he ends up in Kansas City. Oof. Chris, you're going to give him the message. I appreciate that. So, but at this point, I just want it to be done so we can just move on with it. You know what I'm saying? So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, they already said that. Yeah, it's over. It's over. It's over, Art. It's over. It is what it is, man. But that's okay. That's the nature of the beast, man. That's how this game goes. NFL is a nasty business, man. I tell you what, everybody needs to check out what's his name? Pablo Torres on Dan Le Batard's show. Y'all got to check out, and I know this happened a while ago, but check out his interview with DeMaurice Smith. DeMaurice Smith used to be the head of the NFLPA. And he's talking about collusion. Very interesting conversation. And I've said this before, and he explains, DeMaurice Smith is a lawyer, so his verbiage, you got to get through those thee, thou, and those, and all of that type of stuff, and how they talk that legalese. But I've said it before, when people talk about collusion and things like that, they make it way more complicated than it has to be. Way more complicated than it has to be. Collusion only takes two people. Those two people can have other people on their side. The other people might not even know what they're talking about, what they voting on. But you need me to vote, I'm gonna give you my vote. It's like a quid pro quo. They always doing favors for each other. They always cashing in them favors. And all of this stuff is coming to light now because of what happened with Diana Rousini and Mike Vrabel. They cashing in favors. Diana Rousini was cashing the ultimate favor. Y'all, come on now. We grown. We grown. That happens on both sides. Women do it, men do it. Come on, that's the tale as old as time. So I always used to get in these conversations. My wife would see stories like this, and she would say, they done gone through all of that trouble over a piece of ass. And I would always say, and I was like, yeah, but if you look in the Bible, folks went to war over women. So you got to understand that's just the way that it is. It's always been like that. Egos, it's either over money or women. So it is what it is. But you know, the collusion thing, when you get people wanting to come away with, you know, more power or more sway or more control, whatever, however you want to put it, most of the times that doesn't happen by itself, one person. They need help. If you want to have influence, you got to influence somebody else. So again, you're talking about that quid pro quo. And it is not at least I don't see it as a underground, you know, secret meeting room. These jokers is on the Zoom call. Don't get it twisted. It ain't that complicated. They get on the Zoom call, decide what they want to do, and then they got the money to make things happen. It's that simple. I forget what movie or what show that was on, where what's his name? What's the dude that used to play the dad on Roseanne? John what's his name? What's the actor's name? Somebody put it in the chat. He played the husband on Roseanne, the dad on Roseanne. And he been in a whole bunch of stuff. But he was on some show and he was talking about having fuck you money. And the way he put it was, you know, he went on this whole little rant about what you do with your money, let it earn interest, this, that, and the other. And John Goodman, thank you. And then you get a couple million in the bank, and he said that's fuck you money. Where regardless of what somebody asks you, you're like, F you. I ain't got to do that. I'm sitting on a couple mil. So, but in any case, check out that on Pablo Torres with DeMaurice Smith. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. I wanted to get into, I got to find that. Let me see. Did I go back?
Pre-draft run-up.
Well, I basically bought this.
Dang it. Hold on. Let me find this. I was looking at, I went back and I watched the entire interview with Jeff Stoutland.
It looks just the way it looks.
Who's the hardest?
For the picture, hold on. First impressions. Damn it, and I didn't save the, I'll find it. I didn't save the, I wanted where he was asking him what happened. So I'll find that. We'll get to it, but let me see if this is going to work. There we go. Let me know if my sound is still on. We still good? I went and listened to this whole interview. The whole thing. And when they talked about that where you was talking about you just call the right plays and all of that type of stuff. When he said it's not that hard. And the other thing, Jason asked him what was his thought process in him walking away. And he said, Stoutland said that he just thought, and he said this before, he knew it was time. And he references him and Kelce, Jason Kelce used to talk all the time after the season. And Jason would go through all of these, play these head games, whether or not he wanted to shut it down and retire and all of that type of stuff. And Stoutland used to tell him all the time, you will know when it's time for you to walk away. You will just know. If you're asking yourself questions about whether you should or shouldn't, then it's not time. When it's time for you to walk away from the game, you will know it's time for you to walk away from the game. And he said basically that's the conclusion he came up with when they were making all of these changes. Another new coordinator, because he, in my opinion, it sounds like he wasn't crazy about the direction they were going. Maybe it was with Patullo. I don't know. But with this guy coming in, bringing the West Coast style with Mannion, the McVay with the guy in Green Bay, what they do, how they run that offense, he didn't want to have to start from square one again. So he decided that it was his time to walk away. And that's why I will say again, this new coach we got, Cooper, the bar for him is very low. The bar for him is very, very low. So, my bad. But yeah, the bar is super, super duper low. So that's clarity on why Jeff Stoutland walked away. I think I'm just now getting to the point where I am out of my feelings about him walking away from the team. Because y'all know how I feel about Stout. Stout was, maybe Stout will be one of the first assistant coaches to be put in the Hall of Fame because he deserves it. He deserves it. But we'll see what happens with this next coach, Cooper. I think Cooper's going to be just fine. I think I think he's going to be a little bit better than people realize. Let me say it like that. So, you know what? I'm not really, I don't think it's, I got a feeling that the AJ thing is not going to play out the way people think. For some reason, I can't even explain it. I don't know how this is going to manifest. I just have a feeling that wherever AJ is, he gonna do what he gonna do, and everybody's gonna look at the situation like, like we're they're gonna contrast and compare. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna be comparing that. What are we doing over here? What is Makai doing? What is Wicks doing? What is Hollywood doing? And what is AJ doing? That is going to be a constant comparison all this year. So, if, in my opinion, if AJ goes to the Patriots, I think AJ will have a good year, but it'll just be regular. I don't think he'll, I don't see him going off for 1,500 yards or anything like that. But he will have a good year because he's a great player. If he goes to Kansas City, that would be problematic because him and Patrick Mahomes together, and you talking about Travis Kelce on his farewell tour, that might be problematic. So we'll see what they're going to do with that. But all things are on the table. I know somebody said something today, like when you look at the deals with Waddle and who's the other wide receiver? I can't remember who the other one they say, but they set the market. So what Howie was asking for, trying to get a 1, doesn't have to be a 1 this year either. I mean, the draft is over, so it's going to be a 2027 or a 2028 number 1 pick. So how he going to get his money? And he going to get his money's worth. So at this point, we just waiting to see, because like I said, on June 2nd, 12:01 a.m., the deal is going to go through wherever he's going, unless something crazy happens. It's I'm looking at the hockey game. It's 0-0. They in the third period. Ain't nobody scored yet. I mean, it's even game too. 19-22 shots on goal. And Pittsburgh is on the attack. And we just got to save. But yeah, man. I agree. But they gotta play the game. I like some of these. Yes, I definitely like the undrafted free agents, Carlos. That's for sure. Can y'all see the whole message at the top of the chat? That seems to be my workaround now in OBS. I can pin a message to the top, and you can see what message I'm talking about rather than put it on the stream. I have to look to see if OBS has a plugin for that, because I can get a lot more control with OBS. It's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, but it's a little bit more powerful than what I can do on StreamYard. So, yeah, this weekend it's a lot going on, man. Rookie minicamp is this weekend. Do I want to go up there? Probably not. Although I don't know, I might call and I have to see what's going on around the house. So I will be up there during camp, though. So we'll see. But I'm ready to get it. I'm ready to get it on and popping. Everybody's gonna get their iPads. They'll get the offense. They can get a little snippet of it. They're not gonna. I don't know if they give them the whole thing now. I know when I was up there, they didn't give me the whole playbook. You don't get the whole playbook until you come to camp. So I don't know if they get a new tablet, iPad, or whatever it is they use. So, but I tell you what though, listening to Stoutland. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Hold on. Let me find that real quick. Definitely want to find that. Hold on. I'm gonna find that too. So this is.
Jason doesn't want me to tell the story or not, but do and that 33, 34 ago, and it just came a point here.
This is him talking
not
about
long
retiring.
ago where I was very aware of my surroundings and I was thinking to myself, this might be that time, and so a lot of us don't. People that work for are very, very.
Yeah, I want to find that other one. Let me. I can do. I don't want to show both because I don't want to get a copyright. So I'm gonna go back to my close up, and y'all will probably hear the audio. Well, you know what? I can turn the audio down. Hold on. Yep. Hold on. Let me turn that down, and I'm gonna find what I'm looking for.
Long time in their life. Like, where are we at, Coach? So, I just felt like it was the right decision. This day for me is just reset itself in your life. Is the one about.
Hold on.
Be smart. I didn't throw it 3. Yeah. But the Russian game. What happened?
Here we go.
Well, I don't want to. I want to be more talking about.
All right. Here's the part. I found it. So here's the clip that everybody's talking about, right? This is the clip that everybody's talking about. So maybe I will hold on for a second. Split screen. All right. So I'm gonna do it like this. See how much control I got on OBS? I can do some things, man. All right, so listen to this. This is Stoutland answering the question.
the overall career, but I do have to ask last season, right? You guys go from winning the Super Bowl, setting a record at the running back position with the rushing game. What happened last year, just in general? Like, what was the reason for the struggles in your mind? I don't know. What went wrong last season with the Birds?
Well, I think anytime things don't go well, and I don't want to sound like I'm on like in an interview but it's the truth. It's execution, and it's calling the right play at the right time and not running bad plays into bad defenses.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's crashing out about. They pointing that directly at Stout or not Stoutland, but Patullo. So, but it's very interesting because he laid it out there, and I don't think I don't want to say it like him and Patullo didn't get along, but clearly what he was witnessing, he was not happy with it. Now, here's my only rebuttal. He doesn't get into the situation with Cam Jurgens. And I went back. Hold on, let me do this too. I went back and I found I had to pull my own receipts. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Hold on, let me see if I can find this. So this is a short I did earlier today, right? I want y'all to see this. This is a short I did earlier today.
Let a busted call, like what happened?
This is from my video.
Man ain't even damn near getting the handoff. Come on.
I did 2 videos during the season, where I was talking about how bad our offensive line was, how bad the run blocking was, and I went back and watched those videos. And this particular play, I'm talking about Cam Jurgens because I know it's hard to see, but Cam Jurgens is all the way back here because he missed his man, and his man was this guy about to run into Saquon Barkley before Saquon has even got the handoff. This dude is 2 yards in the backfield, and Saquon don't even have the ball yet. And then what makes it worse, Jurgens is trying to hustle back to get a piece of him or to do something, and he ends up running into Saquon or running into Jalen, damn near knocking Jalen down. It was just a ugly play, very ugly play. And I went back and I watched a couple of my videos, and I was like, oof, like it was UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. You ugly. It was bad. It was very bad. And nobody talks about that in regards to Jeff Stoutland. And I always preface it by saying, y'all know I love Jeff Stoutland. So this is not me being a hater. This is me being honest with the situation, and the accountability has got to be there because he was the dude responsible for that offensive line. And if Cam Jurgens was playing like that, and he was for multiple games, it was Jeff Stoutland's responsibility to get his ass out of there. It was his responsibility. I know he's the lovable, huggable uncle that everybody wants to hang around, and he's always got something good to say, and he's very inspirational, and that's the guy you want to run through the wall for. All of that is true, and it can also be true that he made some bad decisions this past year when it came to his offensive line. Makes absolutely no sense. None. Because here's how I look at things like this, right? Jeff Stoutland is the best there is at what he does. Period. it's arguable. You might think of another coach that's better than Jeff Stoutland, and I can happen to disagree. However, what is not up for debate is he is one of the best offensive line coaches in all of football. That is not up for debate. And in saying that, that means he knows more than most. He knows what he's supposed to do. He knows his job. And if he is one of the best people on the planet to coach that position, he knows that Cam Jurgens is on the struggle bus. And he knows that Cam Jurgens don't need to be in that game. He should have known that after that New York game, when Brett Toth added a little bit more run blocking, he should have remained the starter for the rest of the year at least until Cam Jurgens was legit healthy and could have came back in the game. But why we got to go through this for 6-7 weeks and then come to find out that, your boy want to talk on the podcast talking about he could barely walk because his back was so jacked up. Slip disc on the sciatic nerve and all of that type of stuff. And that's some serious stuff. If anybody's ever had sciatic pain, it is no joke. It is no joke. So, let me see. I'm trying to see. Thank you, Justin. Why do the Philly media and national media believe the anonymous sources about Jalen, yet Stout say was play calling? Nobody believes him. That's a phenomenal question. I don't have the answer to it. That is a phenomenal question. And I can't answer it. I don't know. I don't know what it is with Philly's sports talk radio. They always want to find the negative angle and they run with it. It's like, I don't even know what to call it. It's always been like that. And I've said this before. I remember when things turned sour on Donovan McNabb, it was after the TO thing. And if for some other reason, and maybe I could be remembering it differently, but in my opinion, I thought Mike Missanelli was the one that started the turn on Donovan McNabb. Missanelli would just go after him. And the thing is, like, the stuff he was saying he wasn't wrong, but it was just the stuff got personal about he didn't like his attitude and it just kept going and going and going. And when you're doing that in a situation like that, because he was the top dog in Philly and all that kind of stuff, the only thing you would hear would be the people calling in, aligning with his perspective, aligning with his opinion. And then you would have more people co-signing when the Eagles would lose. So Donovan McNabb was arguably the best quarterback we've ever had until Jalen came along. And so to me, that's stuff like that. That's where it starts. And what I've learned since I've stopped playing football, listening to the radio station and all of that kind of stuff, the one thing I've learned is the loudest voice is going to get the most attention. And WIP had the loudest voice for the longest time. So whatever they say, the majority, not all, the majority of the people will go along with it. Because the majority of the people that listen do not, let me repeat myself, do not do their homework. So the majority of the people look at sports talk radio, and now they look at Twitter and Instagram and TikTok as the main source of credible information, and the information is not credible. The radio's getting sources like everybody else, and social media is what it is. You got to vet that information on social. You got to vet that stuff. And people still don't do it. People will still, and it's even worse now with AI. My wife sent me a video of supposedly a storm because it was just tornadoes and stuff down in Texas, right? So she sent me a video on Instagram of the storm, hail coming down. Somebody was in their garage with the door open, filming the hail and stuff falling in their subdivision. And I'm looking at it and I was like, that's AI. That's all AI. The wind was blowing, the hail balls was falling, and it was falling about 4 to 5 feet from the entrance of the garage. So if you standing in the garage looking out the garage, you got the threshold coming out of the garage. So all of the hail balls was landing right there. There's a car in the driveway about 20 feet away, and ain't nothing happening to the car. And then what made it even worse was the car was a Dodge body, but had a Ford grill. So the average person, I'm saying all that to say the average person ain't gonna pick up on all them little clues. The average person, she looked at it, she was like, look real to me. And it did. But when you look a little bit deeper, you got to vet the information nowadays because everybody playing these games. Everybody jumping on AI. Everybody coming up with you can even see it now with the thumbnails and stuff like that. I can look at every thumbnail. I can tell which ones are AI and which ones aren't. Because I use AI, so I know what my thumbnails are supposed to look like, and I know when AI creates it and when they don't. And everybody's just pushing the button. They done figured out how to write them prompts and click the button, and then they just roll with it. But ain't nobody doing homework anymore. Nobody's doing homework. So, that's just the situation we in right now. That's it. Ain't really much you can. You just hope there's going to be some people out there. That's why I like people like Pablo Torres, because Pablo Torres is digging up all the receipts, and him, Dan Lebitard, Marcellus Wiley, whether you like him or not, Stephen A. Smith, all these guys, even Pat McAfee to a degree. Pat McAfee's taking it on the chin now because now he's catching heat for not covering Vrabel and Rousini. But the list of people that actually do homework is getting smaller and smaller because the social media age, everybody wants the information now. Not now, but right now. So the social media thing has made everybody impatient. Everybody. I've been using Photoshop for years. I know how to use Photoshop. I know how to create all of them, all of those thumbnails that they create. I can create in Photoshop. What I can't do is press a button and have it created in less than 60 seconds. That's what I can't do. But if you give me 20, 30 minutes, get some transparent PNGs, some backgrounds, and all that kind of stuff, I can definitely put it together. The problem is, do you want to take the time to do it? This is what the problem is with AI right now. Everybody is so lazy. They want to just click the button and just roll with it. Watch. Mark my words. Mark my words. Somebody, if they aren't doing it right now, they're gonna start doing games. Games are gonna start being done by AI. Watch. They'll figure out a way to do it. They will figure out a way that a computer can interpolate people's movements on the field, and they will be able to verbalize it. That is going to happen because the way these computers are working, they know how to extrapolate certain information, and all you got to do is just put it together and say, okay, when this happens, this is what you say. When this happens, this is what you say. And it's going to sound like shit at the beginning, but just like anything else, it only gets better. It only gets better. Remember when AI, all people was making them AI videos, and you would see people with like 3 legs. You would see cats with like 6 limbs and 3 tails. And if it was a person, they would have like 6 or 7 fingers and all of that stuff. And people was like, yeah, that don't look real at all. And it's like, give it a minute, because it's only gonna get better. And that's exactly what's gonna happen. And people get lazier and lazier. And it's going to get to the point where you can't tell. You can't tell. So you got to be able to, you got to get educated now, because it's only going to get better. So Tiff, what did you post today? I missed it. What did you post today? Wait a minute. Did you send it to me? Hold on. I know I got some stuff today. I got a lot of stuff today. Gotcha. So, Coach, if WIP is so bad, why do we the Eagles team keep talking to them when they hate and put out more hit pieces on the teams worse than ESPN? Because they got a contract. It's about money. That's why. They're sponsors. WIP is a sponsor at the link. They still have that fiscal financial relationship. This timeout brought to you by, every time the Eagles score a touchdown, what do? Everybody gets a free Big Mac or something like that. That's sponsorship. That's money. Do you know how much money these restaurants and stuff pay for to have that type of deal? Where Merrill Reese and what is Mike Quick, every fourth down. This fourth down is brought to you by this punt, this special teams play is brought to you by. They pay for that. So it's all transactional. That's why they still deal with WIP, because whether you like them or not is irrelevant. You listen. There's still hundreds of thousands of people that listen to WIP, period. So if you advertise on WIP, I wish I could get somebody to go on WIP and say, hey, everybody need to listen to Coach Marcus on Pro Fan Talk on YouTube. I need somebody to go on WIP and say that so I can boost my numbers. Yes, he's an ex-Eagle. Yes, he's a running back. He had a cup of coffee played 93, 94, played with Seth and Randall and Herschel and all of them. So he knows what he's talking about. He didn't play for a long time in Philly, but hey, check him out. You've seen him before, blah, 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 blah. They still the biggest name in town when it comes to radio. 97.5 was a contender for a minute. But once everybody got over the newness, same old, same old. So it's transactional, Justin. It's transactional. They're still broadcasting and advertising. And why you think they have a show at Chicky and Pete's every year with Eagles players? Is transactional. So it is what it is. Let me see what you're talking about, Tiff. Did I see this? What is this? Oh, no. Wow. Hold on, y'all. This is funny. Hold on, Tiff. I got to show this one. I did not see this. Hold on.
For years, Coach Mike kept his biggest play off the field.
You think anyone followed us? Mike, the baby is yours. Meet little Mikey.
What? But the secret touchdown of his life, just learn to walk.
Go, Dad!
You are the father. The secret is out now.
Damn. Now the other the other one I saw was it was an AI thing, but they were on Maury Povich. Same thing, talking about you are the father. Oh my God, that was bad. That was a good one. And then I saw another one today. Remember the Bud Light commercials, Real Men of Genius? They had that one. They had one like that, which was funny. Boy, people getting diabolical, man. It is scandalous out in these internet streets. It is scandalous. Oh my God. That was funny. That was funny. So, oh my goodness. That was funny. So, but anyway, uh, it's going. Listen, that's why I say Diana Rousini need to just come on out and no, he going to marriage counseling. What is she doing? So you might as well come out, talk to somebody, and give up the goods. Why not? Because guess what? You still gotta pay your bills. So I don't know how much you got in that stash, but the lifestyle you live, and this is a little side rant, because she gonna be in the same problem that NFL players find themselves in. A lot of the time, you making all of that money and you spending it like you making all of that money. And then when you stop making all of that money, but you still spending like you do, is a problem. That's how players lose money. That's how all of these $1 million players lose money. And I try to tell people, stop applying the lifestyle of a pro athlete to your 9-to-5 life, to your $120,000 life. It's different. You're not going to be driving that same Honda Accord. You'll go ahead and get the Porsche SUV. You'll go ahead and get the Lambo SUV. You'll do that. The problem is, when you get that Lambo SUV, you got to deal with them $800-900 oil changes. And if something happens and that money stops, you still got that $800 oil change sitting in your driveway. That's the problem where people lose all of their money. It's not that they waste it. It's that they don't, the cliche stuff, you got to save for a rainy day. And a lot of the athletes have no financial literacy and they spend it as they get it. Or when they stop getting it, they still got everything that's the monthly bills. That's crazy. That's crazy. So I remember my buddy Vi Sikahima. Vi used to have Vi had a deal, had an endorsement with a dealership. So he would get the good deals on the cars. So I remember I guess this was the first time I'd ever seen one in person. He pulls up to practice in a red Viper. Remember the Dodge Vipers? When they first came out, boy, them were the baddest things on the road. And he had a crowd of us watching. We were in the vet parking lot. Nobody was there because it was practice. So nobody was in the parking lot. And he gunned it and was like taking off. And back then, the parking lot was not level. It was like little mounds and one of those things that you don't notice it until you notice it. And when he took off, he hit one of those mounds, and basically it was like you know how they put the mounds so the water doesn't stay in the same place, right? The water can run down, and they got at the very small incline, but at the bottom of the incline, you got a sewer here, sewer there. So it was little inclines across the parking lot, and he went over one of them little inclines, and he got airborne, and you could hear the tires screech when he hit pavement, and he kind of wiggled, and everybody's heart was in their chest, was in their throat, because we thought he was going to like flip it over. We thought he was going to lose control. That's how fast he was going. So that's my side rant. Crazy story. But get you something like that where the dealership is paying for it, and you got to show up at the dealership for 3 times a month and sign autographs for an hour and a half, something like that. But you're not paying for the car. But you got to be a big name to get that type of deal. You got to be a big name. But my point in all of this was, when you're talking about how people lose their money, when something happens, when you get injured, when those same checks aren't coming anymore, but your bills are still requiring that much money to come in every week. Craziest thing ever happened to me. When I made this Eagles in 93, I rode to the bank with Randall Cunningham. Cashed my first check. I rode to the bank with Randall. We were at Mellon Bank. I don't know who bought Mellon out, but in any case, Mellon Bank was the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. And I walked in with Randall Cunningham. Randall was in front of me, and I watched this lady look at his weekly check, and she just kind of looked at it and stared at him and looked at it, stared at him and looked at it and stared at him. And Randall at that particular time was probably making, now mind you, this is 1993. Randall was making like $70,000 a month. I'm sorry, a week. That was a weekly. We got paid weekly. He made like $70,000 a week. So my point in all of this was saying, when you get to a certain level like that and you got money like that, you got to look at the stuff that you got sitting in your house and in your driveway. That's what sucks up all of the money. If you paying for a private jet, you paying for a private jet. If you paying for a yacht, you paying for a yacht. And it's whatever it is a month. And it doesn't care if you got hurt or if you got cut or if you got traded. It don't care about all of that. So, no traction control on a Viper. Indeed. So, you're absolutely right. Tiff, they were talking about that today when they were talking about they were giving the business to Pat McAfee. So because Pat McAfee he's got that tabloid type style. He'll talk about anything, but he didn't talk about that. Like, come on, man. Come on. And not for nothing, how they giving Klay Thompson all of this pub now? Like, really? So this crazy stuff like that, man. It's all a game, man. You just gotta watch yourself. Drake May announces he has full support for Mike Vrabel. See, and I'm okay with that. That's your coach. You're supposed to ride for your coach. I understand that. But the funny part is, ain't nobody saying nothing about Diana Rousini. Nobody is saying nothing about her. And I think part of that is during her ascension to where she is, or where she was a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago, was I think she burned a lot of bridges on the way up. Because the quiet as kept, when she first got there, she was smashing McVay. Well, that was the reason her and Britt McHenry got in that scrap at an Applebee's or wherever it was in D.C. back in the day. Because McVay was smashing both of them. And he wasn't exclusive to neither one of them. But that just lets you know the business that they are about. A leopard can't change the spots. It is what it is. And she ain't had no problem. She went on ahead, met somebody, got married, and played the part. But every now and then was hooking up with Vrabel. He was a smash. He was and as that was going around, the way things happen like that, especially in the circles, number one, there was a lot of people that knew about what was going on. But wasn't nobody going to call it out. Because let's be honest, in a situation like that, you mind your business. It ain't bothering me. They grown. They going to do what grown folks do. Mind your business. Because I guarantee you some of them other players and coaches' wives knew. I guarantee you they knew. But again, mind your business. But clearly she was crossing the line, and the coaches' wives ain't got nothing to do with her husband, because it looks like her husband was the one that set her up. So, it is what it is. So, Randall Cunningham era had probably the best stock of athletes ever produced. A kicking quarterback, 2 dual pro. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. We got some good ones back then. Like, I played on the squad, bro. Like, sometimes I'll sit back and Randall Cunningham, Fred Barnett, Brian Baldinger, Calvin Williams, me and Vaughn Hebron, Herschel Walker, the Fridge, William Refrigerated Perry, Byron Evans, Seth Joyner, Clyde Simmons, William Thomas, James Lofton, Mark Bavaro, Rich Miano, Eric Allen, Andre Waters, Wes Hopkins, Mark McMillan, Eric McMillan, EMAC was there. I said Rich Miano, Tim Harris, Keith Millard, Gerald Nichols. Who else? Trying to think who else was the Antone Davis, big offensive tackle from Tennessee. Who else, man? I'm trying to think. James Joseph. He was our other running back. James Joseph went to Auburn. Heath Sherman. Who else? I can't remember. I know I'm missing somebody. Victor Bailey was the 2nd round draft pick, wide receiver out of Missouri. We were rookies. Derek Oden was the 4th round draft pick out of Alabama, linebacker. Yeah, I can't think of the other ones. I did good to just name all of them. My man Clyde. Clyde was my dude. You got to remember, that was the year or soon thereafter, Eddie Murphy's Boomerang released in the theaters. And when I got to camp, when I made the team, Clyde Simmons, we used to go out to practice. Clyde Simmons, we used to be like, Mark, because that's what everybody used to say, like Eartha Kitt's line in that movie. And everybody used to clown me. I remember, I think it was Mike. Was it Mike Quick? I can't remember if it was Mike Quick or if it was Harold Carmichael. I think it was Quick. I was in the locker room. Otho Davis was taping my ankles. Seth was in there getting treatment. And Mike Quick walks in and looks at me and then looks at Seth. And he was like, Seth, I didn't know your little brother played. Because we do, at least back then, we used to kind of resemble each other. So yeah, man. Yeah, we had a squad, bro. Yep, James Joseph. We had a pretty good squad. We didn't have the best coaches. Defense was fine. Offense, I know Kotite didn't he start as a tight ends coach or something like that? When he was up in New York, and then when New York fired him, he came down here and or no, he interviewed for the job. I believe he was an assistant coach, assistant offensive coordinator for the Jets. He got hired to be the head coach of the Eagles. That didn't work out. And then he went back to the Jets. The Jets hired him as a head coach. And that was horrible. Because I remember the press conference of the owner, he's saying he was entitled to some winning or something like that. He was entitled to some good times or some winning or something like that before, his time was up. And so that's why he hired Kotite. And I was like, I don't know what the hell you was thinking, bro. So, Seth makes all the suit jackets look latex. I'm going to tell him you said that, bro. Tell him you said that. Oh, my God. Dana Bible, yo. Remember him? Who was our kicker? Our punter was, I can't remember. We didn't have the offensive coaches didn't match what we had on defense. That's why. Yeah. I tell everybody all the time. Look at what Randall Cunningham did when he went to Minnesota. Everything changed when he went to Minnesota. He should have won the Super Bowl. Damn it. But they screwed him up. Freaking kickers. When he went to Minnesota, it was like how come he couldn't do that in Philly? And it just the offense wasn't where it was supposed to be. And it didn't hurt to have Randy Moss in his rookie year. So just the way it goes. Just the way it goes. So you don't want no smoke with Seth. I got to reach out to Seth again. I would love to get Seth on this podcast. I know I talked to, just a heads up, I talked to my boy Jason Dunn the other day. I'm definitely going to have Jason on again. I talked to Willie T. Willie T was like, just let me know. So I will have Willie T on again for sure. I'm trying to get Seth. I'm going to get G Cobb. G Cobb will come on with me. Barrett Brooks always on. But I want to get Seth. I would really love to get Randall, so I'm going to try to make them connections to see if that's possible. Calvin Williams. I got Calvin Williams' number. We see each other at alumni events. He's like, yo, just call me, bro. So I had Fred Barnett. When I first started, Fred Barnett came on. I haven't seen Fred in a while, but I might have to get back with him. But yeah, I'm trying to. Me and Jason was talking the other day, and one of the things we discussed was like using each other's network of friends. I haven't had Irvin Fryer. I'm gonna try to get Irvin Fryer back on again, and then I'm gonna try to have Irvin Fryer hook me up with some of the people that he knows, because Irv knows more people than I do. Jason has access to more. Jason Dunn might be able to get me hooked up with Tony Gonzalez. They played together. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm trying to do stuff like that. So trying to make it happen. So yeah, Calvin's my dude, man. Calvin was one of the cool vets, man. Mo Johnson. Mo Johnson was a tight end. We always had cool vets. You know, we had a good group. Ben, is it Ben Johnson? What was his name? Ben, I think it was Ben Johnson. He was the defensive back. So yeah, we had everybody, man. We had everyone. Nah. So, but all right, man. What time is it? Let me get up out of here. I would love to get Eric Allen on here, man. EA was the coolest. I'll tell you one good EA story. One good EA story, right? And then I got to land this plane. So this is when Camp was at Westchester, right? Nothing to do in Westchester. Nothing to do in Westchester. We stayed on campus. There was a bar across the street. Everybody used to go to the same bar. Gerald Nichols jumped behind the bar one night, was serving everybody drinks, and for whatever reason, he decided to shave his head at the bar. Like, nothing to do up there in Westchester. So we stayed in the dorms, and the way the dorms were designed up there, they had you kind of like had three long hallways, rooms, and then you had a big common area at the front. It was a big common area. You could access the elevators, and there was a huge conference room to the side, right? So Eric Allen brought 3 boxes. No, it was 1 box, but it had 3 sets of Tyco racetracks. Like Tyco, the race car toy. He bought this huge, this track had to be like 60, 70 feet long, because it was 3 tracks all stuffed in 1 box. And then the first day of camp, they made this ginormous track that would cover almost the whole room. Then somebody else, Kenny Rose, brought a TV, one of the first TVs with a VCR built on it. So on the desk, we cleared out everything in the room, all the couches and tables. We moved that to the side. We had a table in the corner. Kenny Rose put the TV on it, and Kenny would always have these tapes with anime stuff on it. So you would come in, it would be anime playing right there. This taiko track would take up damn near 80% of the room. Everybody went to the local mall in Westchester. And back then they had like a little hobby shop in one of them kiosks. And they sold the little taiko cars. So we would go up there and buy 2-3 cars. And we would stay up till like 3, 4, 5 in the morning in this common area racing race cars. I remember one time, me personally, we was up until like 3, 4 in the morning, knowing we had to get up and go to breakfast at 8 o'clock so we can go down to practice. But you just wanted to hang with the vets. You just wanted to, and we'd be in there talking about everything. And Eric Allen brought this huge racetrack, and we would be in there for hours. We called it the Brickyard. And we would just have races. That was we watched the OJ chase, the OJ Simpson white Bronco chase. We watched that, and the funny thing about that, that was my second year in '94. The funny thing about the Bronco chase, Kenny Rose knew OJ. Kenny Rose was from California. He was our special teams captain. Kenny was big into the martial arts and all of that type of stuff. But Kenny lived out in California. Kenny worked. O.J. Simpson used to be on this show called First and 10 on HBO way back in the day. In the 80s. It was a show called First and 10. O.J. Simpson was on that show. Kenny Rose was an extra, but he knew O.J. Knew him. So when the Bronco chase happened, Kenny Rose broke down all the shit that eventually came out in the trial. Kenny Rose told us almost everything verbatim that night, and everything he said came true. Ended up coming out in the trial. And I remember when all of that stuff was going on, I remember sitting with my wife watching this stuff, and I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, holy shit. Kenny Rose said that like 2 years ago. Everything he said turned out to be true. He told us about like him messing with somebody else. He told us about she was messing with some other people, and she was kind of a freak, and all of the stuff that was out there about, like, the stuff that he said was like, we were like jaw drop. And everything he said came out in the trial, and it was like, holy crap. Just crazy stuff, man. It was crazy year that year, man. So, but yeah, it was some good times, bro. Good times. So, but all right, man, I'm gonna land this plane, man. I will end with this. I'm officially over. I'm out of my feelings about Jeff Stoutland. I still love him. I still wish he was coaching. But I don't feel as bad as I did 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So he made his choice. I'm happy for him. I still think he might be involved with the Eagles some way, shape, or form. I don't know. But after hearing that on the Kelce's podcast, I feel a hell of a lot better. And I'm not in my feelings about it. I'm not in my feelings about A.J. Brown like I was before. So it's time to move. We got the draft. Rookie camp is this weekend. So we are on the next step. The world is turning, y'all, and we moving forward. So that's what we got to do. Love it or hate it. So that's all I got. I'm gonna get up out of here. Definitely good stream. I should be back on tomorrow. If StreamYard is working right again, I will definitely try to get some people do the call-ins again. I just couldn't do it today. I'm sure there's a way where I can take people coming on with. I'm almost positive there's a way that you can do it in OBS. I just don't know how to do it, so I got to do some homework because I would really love to get away from StreamYard. OBS is much more powerful, but StreamYard is just so freaking easy. You know what I'm saying? So we'll figure that out. That'll be my cross to bear. So y'all ain't got to worry about that. But I appreciate you with y'all rocking me. Damn, I can't even talk. I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. It looks like I didn't have any hiccups using OBS, so that's a good thing. So I might have to do this again, try to get some more bells and whistles and different things like that. Get my graphics back. I got to get me a lower third going. I got a whole bunch of stuff to work with. Yeah, whole bunch of stuff. That's my draw screen. I can't get all of this stuff. Yeah, I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. So, but all right, I got to get up out of here. Man. I appreciate everybody rocking with me today. We had a good time. Good conversations, man. Good conversations. So tomorrow I'm going to be back on StreamYard at same time, 9 p.m. And I will definitely put the link out so y'all can pull up in the chat or pull up on screen. All right? So I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. I appreciate you. And as usual, go Birds.
Yeah. Yo, 2026 and the link is feeling cold. Stories of a super runner getting kinda old. Jalen under fire, say his vision's getting tight. Calling them uncoachable every single night. AJ in the tray, got me in my field. Mr. Hollywood is the brownest on the field. Man, he ain't calling plays, I'll be searching for the spark. Eagles flying solo, hunting shadows in the dark. Vrabel and Rousini trying to launch a master plan. Ever since the photos got you sitting with the fans. Draft day approaching, how we sitting on this perch. Gotta fill some holes, so you know he's on the search. 10 toes down with the Eagles on the scene. Watching out for Cap, cause your boy is bleeding green. Searching through the trending topics, info, moving slow. Pro fan talk, always keep you in the know. Pro fan talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Pro fan talk. Where the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon'